Alright, well, hello children. Hopefully you guys are having a great day without me working hard and all that stuff. First of all, let me send a shout out to my first period children, Carlos and Eric, the early birds, and I think Irving asked me for one too, Stephanie. Shout out to those children. Well, everybody in first period before anybody starts to get all sad and scared because they didn't get a shout out. But anyway, we are gonna be using the software again, but there is a very special way to actually put this in the calculator. So you gotta make sure you know what you're doing. Notice on question 5 it says in student activity sheet 5, you learn to use the time value of money calculator to determine different variables related to time value of money. In your prior work with the TVM calculator, you only considered lump sum investments and the payment variable was always 0. Remember, we always talked about this before where we said PMT, we said that was always 0, right? Not in this case anymore. PMT is not 0 anymore. PMT is going to be used for our annuity calculations. It says explore using the time value of money calculator to determine the future value of the $200 annuity over the 5 years and compare your answer with the known future value of $1,343.12. List the values you assign for each variable and explain why. So you're going to play with this a little bit and you're going to put different values for the compounds and all that stuff because we didn't really use any specific compounds earlier. So you can use different compounds, but you got to tell me what values you use on this table. So let me show you what we're going to do. We are going to use this table, and we said that first of all, the number that you cannot change is the PMT. That's your annuity. You're adding $200 each time, so this is going to be 200. Now, PMT is really specific. If you are adding money to it, the calculator wants this as negative 200. If you were taking money out of it, then you would put a positive 200. But since we're only talking about adding money to it, we're going to leave it as a negative 200. And then it says the number of compounding periods between the time of the investment and the retirement. So I'm going to use annual compounds. We got an N annual. Okay. So if I'm using annually, then that means I'm going to put a 1 here. I'm going to put a 1 there. And then we're doing 5 years. So 5 times 1. And then the interest rate was still 10%. And remember, the calculator wants it as 10%. So this is the one you're actually going to type. Principal or present value. If you're adding money each time, you kind of start at 0. So this one's going to be 0 now. And we are calculating the future value. So now that we know what our numbers are, let's go ahead and use the calculator to make those calculations. So let's first bring it over here. We're going to start at the home button, new document, add a calculator, hopefully you can select it there, menu A1, okay, and then the number of years is 5, tab, the interest rate is 10, tab, the present value is 0 because you're kind of starting with $0 until you add your first 200, PMT is negative 200. Future value, that's what we're looking for, so let's leave that blank. And then since I chose annually, I'm going to leave that as 1. So tab and tab. Now what's interesting is that we're finally going to get to change this variable, change it to the beginning, okay? Because usually interest is paid at the end of the compound period. In this case, you make payments at the beginning. That's what we talked about before. We said we want to put the money into the account before they calculate the 10% so that we can still get paid on that amount. So make sure you change that to begin. So now I can go back to future value, press enter, and notice that we get that 1143.12 that we had calculated earlier with our long formula. So on this first problem, you are gonna play around and change your compounds. So try changing the compound to monthly. Let's start with, what's the next one after this? Quarterly. Okay, tell me what numbers you got for that. Change it to monthly. Change it to weekly and daily, and see what different numbers you get when you make those changes. Remember, the original number that we had gotten first was this one right here, 1343.12, but change it to see what that does to your account. Okay, so that's for that question. And then we move on to the next ones. The next one, number 6, says Amy is 25 years old and wants to attend some retirement planning seminars at work. Knowing she should start thinking about retirement savings early, Amy plans to invest in an annuity earning 5% interest compounded annually. She plans to save $100 from her monthly paycheck so that she can make annual payments of $1,200 into her annuity. Use the time value of money calculator to determine the future value of the investment for or after 35 years. So the only thing you really have to remember is, again, make sure you make this number a negative. I'm not going to tell you what to write in there. I think you already pretty much know how to use the software. And then make sure that you change that payment to the beginning instead of end. Same thing for all the other ones. You're only going to be working up to question 8 pretty much. So it should be a short assignment. You should be able to get this done. If you and your buddy work together, you should be okay. If you have any questions, you can always send me a message through the classroom, and hopefully if I'm available, I'll be able to answer it. But if not, just do your best. Try to get that in there. If you're getting some wrong or some error messages, try to change something to a negative or something to a positive, and then see if that fixes the issue. Alright guys, hope you have a great day, and hopefully when I see you tomorrow, everybody has their assignment done and we can all be nice and happy with our 100% on this assignment. So see you guys tomorrow.